Obviously, this is it's an important issue, important development. U.S.-Turkey relations have endured a lot of ups and downs, especially within the past 2-3 years, especially with this administration. As we remember, there was a visa crisis that started last year around the fall time. So the dispute is not over yet, but both sides, if you look at what they indicated after the meeting, they indicated that it was extremely constructive and they agreed to work on these issues. So there was positive language coming from both sides, but they didn't really provide any specifics as to what was resolved or what was going to be what were the steps that they were going to take to resolve the issue. But nevertheless, I think it's a positive development. There's still dialogue is going on, and both sides are talking to each other, and they're willing to resolve this issue in a way that both sides and NATO allies should.
Mm-hmm. So we don't know exactly what they've agreed on. Yenal, remind us, because this has been happening for over the past few weeks, what is at the core of this situation?
Well, the core of the situation is this Pastor Andrew Brunson. Obviously, he's been living in Turkey, but following the coup attempt in Turkey, he was arrested for charges. He was, again, allegedly, he was involved in the coup attempt in some shape or form. There's document, according to Turkish sources, that there's all kinds of documents that he was involved. He was visiting certain regions within the country. Those basically were all red flags, and that's part of the reason why he was arrested. Well, that didn't go well with the administration here, with the Trump administration, especially considering the fact that the evangelical base provided a lot of support to the Trump administration. But this was an issue that has been going on for some time. I think the administration here sort of signaled Turkey about a year ago, basically, that they were going to take measures against Turkey if Andrew Brunson was not released. Okay. And it started with the Senate, basically. Senator Jean Shaheen and Tillerson from South Carolina, they visited Turkey, and they made it very clear that they were going to take measures. It started with F-35 deal. There was a legislation that was passed here recently, basically making it difficult for Turkey to acquire the remaining F-35s. So it's an issue that sort of branched out from Andrew Brunson, and it started getting involved in the military issues and now into diplomatic issues.
Okay. And do you think that Turkey will accept U.S. demands to release the pastor?
Well, Turkey, I would say both sides are in a little bit of a difficult situation right now. If Turkey were to accept the demands and release the pastor and send it back to the U.S., that would have definitely consequences for Turkey in the long run, both in terms of its foreign policy and domestic policies. Similarly, if U.S. were to back down and accept whatever Turkey was going to offer, that will have consequences for the administration here. It's a wait-and-see game, but I think because the relations between two sides endured a lot of difficulties and ups and downs, a roller coaster of diplomacy over the course of the last 2.5 years, I would say, I think there's a lot of room for them to know each other. They already know each other. They experienced, again, going back to the visa crisis, which was resolved, I believe it took about 4 months for it to be resolved. So there's at least there's that in the background that they can work with. But I don't really see as to whether Turkey will back down on this unless they get whatever they were asking, or U.S. will basically say meet Turkey's demands. So that's not very clear based on what both sides indicated this morning following the meeting with Pompeo and Çavuşoğlu. Will remain, and we'll see what's going to happen.